If you're a young mother and you are just trying to figure this thing out, right? And as a mom, I know that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be the best we can be as moms. And if you're ready to have change in your life on how you see yourself and how you see your legacy or what you want to leave behind, this is the episode for you. I have the amazing Shauna Lee here, and she is pouring herself into mothers to help them not just survive this motherhood thing, but to thrive. And I love everything she left on the table. So I cannot wait for you to see this and hear this. What's up, y'all? This is Dina Perez, and this is Straight Talk, no sugar added. And I am in love with all of you and love what everything you're doing and the way the community's growing. You guys have been sharing, subscribing, all that great stuff. So our numbers have gone up exponentially. And it's because I bring really good humans on here to grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. And today I have Shauna Lee here, y'all. Okay, she is a powerhouse who has turned her darkest moments into a mission of helping women and young mothers thrive, not just survive, but thrive. Okay. And after realizing that no amount of changing partners or changing location could fix what needed transforming from within, well, she has stepped into that and now she's helping you do that too. I just love that, right? So Shauna is committed to self-love and self-leadership and embracing her true gifts. And with over 20 years in life and business coaching, a background in early childhood education and all of these experiences and skill sets that she brings to the table. She has a real knack for stirring up souls in her poetry, right? So Shauna is known to share practical strategies, help you reduce stress, building strong family connections, and modeling motherhood at its best. So get ready, y'all, because we're going to have an amazing conversation that can change the way you see yourself and your legacy. Welcome, Shauna, to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Nina, for allowing me to be here to be a part of your community for just a few moments. I appreciate it. I'm
I'm
doing
so
great.
grateful. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm really, really grateful that you're here. I love what you're doing, and I love the way you're pouring into young mothers, right? And this is something like I was a very young mother, Shauna. I had my son at 15 years old, so I wish I had somebody pouring into me. I didn't, and so a lot of the things I did, I had to do on my own, working really hard, making a ton of mistakes, all of that great stuff, right? Thank God that me and my children have really good relationships because I could have ruined it because I was so young and I didn't know what I was doing. So Shauna, tell me a little bit about you though. I want to discover who you are and then we'll go from there. So who are you, Miss Shauna Lee? Who are you?
Okay, who am I without my titles, right?
Yes.
I am originally from Guyana, South America. And I came to the US when I was 17, going on 18. I had already
Mm,
completed high school in Guyana. And when I came to the US, I had to go back for 2 years
oh
because
boy.
I needed to get that US diploma.
Okay.
So I came here. Before I came to America, I was very outgoing. I was a model. I used to love to sing. But when I came to America, things changed for me
Mm,
because it was like culture shock.
yeah.
I mean, I was wearing uniforms for school. I had my hair in pigtails and at 17 now.
Right,
And
right.
I went into this, when I walked into the school for the first time, it was like, wow. And instead of continuing to be that outgoing person, I kind of drew back,
Mm,
step in the shadow, and I became a people pleaser. Instead of that leader that I was before I got here, I
wow.
became a people pleaser and a follower. And that really took on a different life took me in different directions. And I even was a mother of four by 24. So I started my first child I had at 18 and then all the way up until, and they were all under six, Nina. So
Wow.
I understand really how young mothers feel. And I
Mhm,
want them to
mhm.
know that they're not alone. There are lots of us out here that want to
Yes.
support them, and they can win, they can thrive, and they don't have to constantly be in a state of survival and struggle.
Yeah. I really I it's just so powerful what you're doing because I had my first son at 15, my second one at 21. And I was just such a young mother and just trying to figure this all out. And you do feel alone though, Shauna. You do feel very much alone. And even if you have a partner or whatever, maybe they're not even the best partner. Maybe they're amazing partners. I don't know. I had terrible partners.
I know.
Terrible. But I had terrible, terrible partners. But I did my best. And when my kids got a bit older, I wrote my autobiography. They were able to read it and they're like, Mom, I didn't realize you went through so much, because I think one of the things is children forget is that we're also human and that we also have tragedies. We also have trauma. We also have things in our life. And I think it humanizes us when our kids can see us for who we are. And it's great that you're encouraging these women to understand that they are not alone, right? And I
Thank
know that
you.
you discovered, when I was reading your intro, that changing partners and moving to a new place and doing all those things wasn't the solution, that you had to transform your self image, right? So,
Yes.
what was that for you? What was that defining moment that pushed you to look inward rather than outward? Because when you were looking outward, you were thinking you had to people please, that you had to do all these things. So, what were those defining moments for you?
The defining moment for me was when I invested in a business and it failed. I invested all my life savings up until that point, and the business failed. But I had to take responsibility for me because I saw all the signs,
Yeah, I hear you.
everything that told me don't go ahead, this is not the right time, this is not the right person. I did it anyway because I just wanted, it was something I've been dreaming about for a long time.
Hmm.
And when that happened and I lost my savings, I felt like that was the end of the world. And in saying that, I also got to the point where I wanted to commit suicide.
Hmm.
And but I had a great aunt and I had a great friend who
Good.
I was able to call, and they stayed with me. They reminded me of who I was. And then also prayer changes everything it
Yes.
did for me.
Yes.
It
Yes.
changed everything for me. And as I began to pray and ask for help and for guidance, and Nina, at this point, I had more time on my hands as well
Mhm.
because I had quit my job to go into this business. And so I had a few months to really focus on. And you say, well, you had no money. How did you have a few months? Because the two people, core people I had around me at that point, really wanted to see me win, and they made sure I took care of my
I love
mental
that. I love that.
aspect before I rush into something else. And as they were allowing me to tune into me, then God began to send the information I needed, like Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay, and people to just begin to say the things that I need for me to stop looking outside of myself.
Mm, mm.
And it was a hard pill to swallow because the biggest thing that came up for me was I was holding on to a lot of unforgiveness for people I didn't even think, like my mother,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
even the business partner. And one thing I learned through that process is to forgive me. It's two words: for and give. So I have, in order for me to be clear and to be able to move forward with more confidence and more clarity, I had to be able to give up something to make room for something else. And I
Yeah.
had to give up what was holding me back, the anger, the frustration, everything that was on the fear side of my life, to give room for what's on the love side of my life, which is love, appreciation for myself, and appreciation that I got a second chance.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you anymore, Shauna, because I actually have a whole course on forgiveness because forgiveness shifted my entire life. My entire life shifted because I had so much anger and hurt and fears, and I didn't think I was worth anything or had worth and all of those things, right? And it's when you start, I love the way you put that, right? To for and to give. And I love that because you're 100% correct, right? I'm sure that you felt that freedom. There's such a
Hmm.
freedom,
Yes.
right? Such a freedom that comes with it. And I want to also remind ladies, listen, that doesn't mean that the person is off the hook. Let God deal with that. Okay. You just do your part because you're getting yourself off the hook, right? Because you're the one that's beating yourself up. You don't think you're good enough. You don't think you're worthy. You don't think you can. So you're
Right.
actually letting yourself off the hook, right? And I love that you said that, Shauna, because I think that's one of the hard pills to swallow when you're a young mother too. That you have a kid and you're like, this is not that the kid is a mistake, but this was a mistake having a kid so early. Look how hard
Hmm.
this is. I don't have enough money. How am I going to get this done? Right. So
Yes.
you have to forgive yourself too. That's okay.
Yes.
We all
Of
make, I mean, I was
course.
15 for God's sake. I was 14 and I was in 8th grade when I was pregnant. Like people looked at me, they talked about me, they mocked me, like they pointed fingers because at that time in 88, it wasn't as common. It started to become a little bit more common, unfortunately, after, but it wasn't that common then. And so people thought that I was just the girl with the kid.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful for the experience, honestly. It made me a better woman, but it was hard, right?
Yes.
So what was that for you, right? Because you talk a lot about that self-love, that self-acceptance, that self-discovery, self-leadership. Like you're really into leading yourself, right? And so I'm wondering for these women who are listening, what which one do you think is of the best pillar or the most important? What do you find the best and the most challenging for the women who are listening to adopt this mindset, right? Because I really want these women to have some freedom. So lead us through that, Shauna.
So I would say self love would be the foundation
Mm, mm, mm.
because we were groomed to believe everybody else is worthy of something but us.
Yes.
We were groomed to believe that the value that we place on ourselves um, is to even diminish that because why would you put yourself? We're always taught to put somebody else before ourselves, not
Yeah.
realizing that we can't really give if we're empty.
Right.
And if we're giving out of resentment. And so self love would be the place I would say to begin. When we begin to love ourselves, then we begin to really embody the power that is within us that is greater than any situation or circumstance we will ever face. And in
Yeah.
order to give more, we have to know, I would say, know thyself. And if I don't know who I am, what am I really capable of giving the world?
Yeah. Yeah. How do they start that though, Shauna? How do they start to go down the road of discovering who they are? Because sometimes we don't know that, right? Because when I speak to people, it's kind of where I was many years ago, where what you see online, they seem better than you. They seem more advanced than you. They seem like they got their stuff together and you don't, right? And
Right.
so I had to, I realized that my worth comes from God. That's my faith. That's just who I am.
Yes.
And so when I realized how much God loved me and the sacrifice he made to save me, right? When I felt like I was nothing, helped me shift my perspective. And so I'm just curious, like I know you work with a lot of women, like where do you want them to start? Where do they start to discover their worth?
I will have to say go back to God as well because for a moment I left God and it was in that moment that I told you about before just a few minutes ago that
Yeah,
I had to come full circle back to God because greater is he who is in me.
than
And if
he who
there's
is in the
greatness
world.
within me, then who am I not to show up as
Yeah.
greatness?
Yeah.
And so I take women through a what I call a 5 P's process
Mhm.
to prepare, to be positive and proactive and practice the process. So prepare. What am I preparing for? What do I want to do with my life? Who am I right now? Get clarity on self again, self-love. Why do I love me? Why should I love me? Why shouldn't I love me?
Mm.
And then be positive, be clear on, and I think when we begin to be clear on the preparation part of it, then purpose begins to come to mind.
Mm.
Begin to get clear on what should I be doing, you know,
Yeah, I think
working
that's
on the
so
process
important.
of that. And
Yeah.
then to
Yeah,
be
give us
positive,
the rest because 'cause I'm all into this now. I'm into this now. Go
to
ahead.
be so positive, we know that two energies cannot occupy the same space at the same time. So if I'm being negative and I'm worrying and I'm being in fear, then I have no room for love. I have no room for
Mm,
clarity. I have no room for confidence. I have no room to really be clear and step into whatever that next is for me. Then proactive, now that I'm prepared, now that I'm clear about what I want, where I want to go, what I should be doing, what I want to do, what makes me happy, what fills me up, what brings me life, then and I am positive about it. I will say positivity is like make it lighten up the way for you. It's
mm,
lighting the way to what you should do, what we can do next to increase the joy and the love and the prosperity in our lives. And proactive where is the step that you take. What can I do from where I am with what I have? Not to have everything, but what is that one step? As my coach will tell me, what is one step you can take in 24 hours?
mhm.
Don't worry about 3 months down the road. And sometimes you don't even have to worry about how it's going to happen. Is what do I have control over now? What is that one step I can take? And let's see, prepare to be positive and proactive. Practice. That means I have to be working those muscles and the
Yeah.
mindset
Yeah.
muscles, right? That
Yep.
means because there's a lot in there that told me I couldn't live my dream, that I wasn't a good mother, that I shouldn't have done certain things. That why don't I? Some mothers have been told to give up their child for adoption. Now that I realize my child is a blessing, not a burden. What is that practice that I'm kind of filling my faith with? What am I doing? What is the action?
Right.
Consistency. What is my plan?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
then progress. I think of progress like a mustard seed. You and I know about the story of the mustard seed,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
It's
Yes.
really, really tiny. However, once we plant it, it can grow into something huge, just like the acorn and the oak tree.
That's right. That's
So
right.
when I have to remember this is a process, all the inferiority complex or the self-sabotaging that I do to myself didn't come overnight. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Zig Ziglar, but he used
Mhm.
to say motivation is like bathing. You have to get up and do it every day.
Mhm.
And the same thing with a practice.
Yep.
And remembering this is a process. I have to get up every day like it's a new day and decide every day is a new decision to recommit, and recommit to
Yeah.
what I say
Yep.
I'm preparing for.
Yeah, and I think that, that's where sometimes we can fall short is we try it once or twice and then we're like it's not working. And nothing in life works that fast. Nothing in life works that fast. I want to say that again. Nothing in life works that fast. I know that we are living in a microwave world right now and in all of these big gurus telling you about how they're going to make you $1,000 million in 3 days, right? And so people really are unfortunately falling for that and they're
Yeah.
spending a lot of money and now they're burnt out with less money and I'm talking about me too because I've done it too. I've spent
Yes.
over 150 to $200,000 in coaching and everything else, and some coaches were amazing and some coaches I just lost a lot of money, right? And so I learned to take it all as a learning experience like you did with your business, right? It's a
Yes.
learning experience. You learn and you can become more savvy. But what I want you guys to hear her saying is that it does take practice, but it takes you being intentional. Like you literally have to show up, right? You
Yes.
you have to show up. And so one of the things that I do for myself as well is I keep saying to myself, I do it now. I do it now because I used to always get, oh, I'll do it later, or I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it Monday. And it never got done. And I'm a very productive person. But for when it came to myself, when it came to my own health, when it came to my own mindset, I'll do it later.
Yeah.
Right. And I realized now I just go, I do it now. Like this morning I got up, I was tired. I'm like, nope, you do it now. So I went to work out. No, because I do it now, right? So I
I
love
love
that you're
it.
telling them that. I love that you're telling them, listen, you have to practice your muscles, you have to practice your skills. You have to show up, right? Because there's purpose in what you do, right, Shauna? So,
Yes.
like, what are some of the biggest challenges that you're seeing with these young mothers, let's say, because I know that you talk a lot about modeling motherhood, right?
Yes.
And I know that you say this is an amazing way that you teach, that you lead, that you inspire, right? So I'm just wondering if you can share like a practical strategy for these moms that they can start using like today to start building like deeper bonds with their children, deeper bonds with themselves. Let's talk about that.
So, what I would say, the first thing is to sit down and have a plan.
Yeah.
And a plan doesn't mean that you're going to check everything off the list. A plan means just, and goals just mean that you're giving your life some direction.
Yeah.
So I would say sit down and brain dump about everything that you would like to accomplish in the next year, 2 years,
Mhm.
5 years,
Mhm.
and then go back and then just decide what is it that's most important to me. Prioritize, of course. Prioritize what's most important to me for me to accomplish this year,
Right.
and then go back again. And I know this is work, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So we don't, if we don't work it, it doesn't work.
That's right.
So go back and then look at it now. Maybe take three things that's most important for this year, and then break it down even into quarters now.
Yep.
What is
Yep.
important for me to do first this quarter? And then go to the quarter and say, what's something I can do today?
Mhm. Mhm.
And from that, I think from doing it that one day, it tells you what needs to happen the next day,
Yep.
and the
That's
next
so
week,
good.
and the next
Mhm.
month.
Mhm.
So
That's
I
really
feel
good.
that the plan is, and mapping out their life and vision is important.
I agree with you. In fact, it's so good that you said that. That's something I do with my women in my coaching program. Is we deal with what the overarching goal is and break it down into quarters, then break it down into weeks, then break it down into daily. And I think you have to be intentional. You just have to be intentional. Don't just think about it, write it down, because everything we think about, we forget in like 2 seconds, right?
Right.
We had a brilliant idea. We totally forgot about it. And we forgot
Yes.
about it because we have another brilliant idea that comes in after. And so we got to make sure that we do that. And I know that you've spoken on many national stages. You've written multiple books. Talk about coming far from where you were in the beginning, huh? Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, it
I love
is.
that. I love that. And I know that you even perform, as a poet. And I'm just wondering for these women, how does embracing all of their creativity and what they have and their knowledge, their skill set, their God given talents, all this beautiful stuff that they have, because only they have it the way they have it, right? That's so
Amen.
amazing about God. He just creates us so amazingly different, but connects us anyway. It's such a beautiful freaking thing. So I'm
It
just
is.
wondering for these women, I want them to break free from self-sabotage and limiting beliefs and all of these things that are holding them back. And I wanted you to speak to them at that place. How do they break free from limiting beliefs and not thinking that they have worth or value? I want them to be done with that, right? So tell us about that.
I would say for them to close their eyes and imagine themselves in the perfect, having a perfect day. Let's
Mhm.
go
Mhm.
there. Or for some people that say, well, I don't want to do that. Here's something else for you. I want you to sit down and pretend that you're going on a vacation that you've always wanted to go on, and close your eyes. And I want you to go there with your imagination and see yourself packing your clothes. See
Yeah.
yourself putting your tickets in your bag. See yourself putting that extra money in your bag and those couple of credit cards that maybe you want to use. Getting on the plane. What does it feel like? What are you wearing? Who's there with you? And take yourself viscerally on this vacation, because our imagination is powerful. And the reason I say our imagination is powerful, because most of what we wake up and do every day comes from what we put into our mind the day before,
Mm.
or the month
Mm.
before, the week before, the year before, or years before. So it's time for us to start to download some new ideas, some new information. Give yourself permission to give yourself a new vision
Mhm.
and work with that. Every time you feel like something is not going the way you want it to, take 1 minute and go inside. That's where all the power is. Go inside. If you're looking at it outside, it's already done and you have no control over it. Go within, start the creative process from within,
Yep.
and create the process by feeling your way. How do you feel when something is even about, the decision making part of it? When we usually God will tell us when something is not right. We know right away, but we'll go ahead and kind of switch it off anyway, right?
Yep,
And go in
yep.
a different mode. But here is something I want them to feel as well. And I hope, ladies, I want you guys to lean in for a moment, because a woman who knows her worth is like a golden nugget that never loses its luster.
That's right.
A woman who's guided from within is like a lighthouse you can trust to show you the way, to honor the goddess within. A woman who needs no outer approval to feel joy is like a rose that blooms every hour on the hour. And a woman who shares her love is like the universe say, I know and accept that we are one. A woman who's satisfied with her life is like a magnet that draws to it love, light, beauty, simplicity, and clarity in every moment. You are that woman. I want you to celebrate the truth of who you are in this very hour. I want you to take a deep breath in this moment, because life is precious now. There's no need to store it. In nature's walk, surround sound is at its peak. Let's lift our eyes to heaven as we humbly speak. Oh, Father, Mother God, you are a rock and a light. An immense God, give us wings of flight. We never have to feel discouraged or lonely, for you are our source, our crown, and our glory. And as long as you remember, I am who God created me to be, I get to show up. And the word is I get to show up and be an amazing mother, an amazing woman, an amazing wife, an amazing person, co creator in this world. Who am I choosing to show up as now? Now that I know it, because you can't unknow what you know now. Just
Mm.
saying.
Okay, hold on. See this mic? Drop. Okay. Let's just drop the mic and shut the whole interview off, because that was amazing. Thank you for that. What a gift. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. And that's true, right? I think that all of you who are listening, maybe you know a young mother or somebody who has struggled in motherhood, because a lot of us have, and some of us have just struggled in silence. We haven't talked about it, haven't told anybody about it, tried to understand why we're still not feeling like we are good mothers or whatever have you. And there is something that just runs deep within us, and I really believe that you have to, like Shauna said, just go back to that place of silence and peace with yourself and God, and put yourself in that place of, who am I? What do I like? What do I love? What do I bring to the world? What is the value? Because I promise you that you have value and worth. I promise you that you do.
Yes.
I promise you. And so if you took the time to understand that, you would understand that all the stuff that you do to self-sabotage, you won't allow it anymore. Right? All those beliefs that come that limit you, you won't allow it. Right? It won't be anything that you're going to want to have in your life, because you're going to step up for you. So I'm wondering, for all of those women who are listening, if someone wants to really dig in and start cultivating this mindset, right? And I'm assuming that they want to also give this to the legacy, because I know that there's many things in my family history that I broke off of my family, right? With the power of God and prayer, I broke that off. None of my children had kids in a teenage year. None of them, right?
Mm,
They're all adults. And I just my daughter has two. She's 26. My son has just had his first one. He's 30. Like, they waited until they were in their relationships and older to have their children. And that's because I said, me and God just co-created and prayed. And I'm like, God, Do not give them this fate. And, I rebuke it and I close it down and I shut it. And I don't want that in my family. And I'm so grateful because my kids didn't have to go through that big
Right.
struggle that I went through. Right. And so I want you to just speak to these women and just let them know, how they can, create a lasting impact for the next generation and how they can work with you because I'm sure that they're listening and they're like, oh, Shauna Lee's my jam. Yes, she is. I know she's your jam. So tell us about that. Like, how can they leave a legacy for their family? And how is it that you work with them? How can they contact you? Like all that stuff.
So, legacy is leadership and
Legacy is leadership.
family leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's always looking at self again, self love, self discovery, because a mother that doesn't know herself can't really pass anything down to her children
Mm,
except for ignorance. And I'm going to say ignorance because ignorance means ignoring
yeah.
the fact.
Right. Not knowing. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think all mothers need to know they are leaders. Now, the question is what they can ask themselves, what kind of leader am I?
Mm,
Am I happy? Am I content? Am I satisfied with how I'm leading my children right now? And if the answer is yes, what is my next level? Because anything that is not growing is dying. So if we're stagnant, if I've been leading the same way always, what is that next level of leadership for me in my family? And then if the mother is not satisfied, then she can say, well, what do I want to change? What's
that's beautiful.
important for me to show my family right now? Because leadership is about demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
am I demonstrate? What do I want to demonstrate to my children now? Is it better communication skill? Is it more intentional decision making, depending on the age of the children? Um, is it showing them how to do chores? Is it showing them how to go to bed on time? Is it showing them what to put in their minds by monitoring what they're watching to and what they're listening to? Leadership takes on many forms, and legacy is about, like I said, is about leadership. So mothers always have to be doing what I say, a self evaluation and self reflection to ask themselves, am I happy with with the way I show up today as a mother?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And it's not to feel guilty. It's just
Right.
checking in.
Yeah.
And if I'm not, I can do something about it.
Right.
You
Right.
can
Right.
do something about it. And when she shows up, if she's happy about the way she show up, then again, it's about that next level. And if she's not, what do I want to tweak tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Because I get
Mm-hmm.
to do it again. As long
Yeah.
as I wake up and open my eyes, I get to do it again. So no guilt, no shame.
That's right. That's right.
Just make the adjustment and keep it moving. So I actually I have mastermind courses where I have a program specifically. It's called From Pieces to Peace, and it's
Mm,
helping mothers to not fragment themselves anymore with shame and guilt of the past, or blame, or even allow fear to step in and just cause them to stay in the pieces of life, but to
mhm.
come into themselves and really become at peace with who God has created them to be, to find out about their purpose, to take the steps and the process, go through the process of waking up every day and say, I get to create a new life today. I get a second chance. And what am I going to do with my second chance? And that, don't worry about yesterday. Don't worry about tomorrow. Today. Because when tomorrow comes, it's called today. There's no tomorrow.
Right.
I can plan for it, but what's most important is what I do with my daily bread.
Yeah, so good. So good, Shauna. So how do these women find you and work with you? And, like, I know that you said you have the program and everything, but where do they find all of that? Like, how do they connect?
So my website is www.prismoftransformation.com. My email is prismoftransformation@gmail. I am on Facebook as Shauna Halley Lee, SHAWNAHALLEE. Ley Lee, and I have a link tree in there if on my social media for anybody that wants to find out more
Okay.
about everything that I offer.
Thank you so much for being here because I mean, you just like killed it. Like I asked the question, you were like, I got you. I got this. So
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so
much,
much for
Nina.
doing that. No, this was great. I really, really enjoy who you are, what you bring to the table, what you do, and like changing the next generation of mothers so that their children can be changed. Because let's be real, mothers are so vital. Fathers are vital too. But moms are usually the one that guide the way the child will either have faith or no faith, will do this or not do this.
Yeah.
Usually the mom is the one that does that. So
Yes.
it's powerful for you to do this because I know that you're not just pouring into the mother, but for all of the generations past the mother. So
Yes.
kudos to you, Shauna. Kudos to you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Nina.
So
Thank you.
good. So good.
Awesome.
Guys, I told you, right? I know. Good human. I told you. So I'm going to make sure to list all of Shauna's information below. I want to make sure that you can connect with her. I think the work that she is doing is so freaking important and so vital. And so many people are lost right now and not knowing how to communicate and how to connect with themselves and how to connect with their families and their children and all that great stuff. Well, we need to stop that. We need to stop that because the next children that are here are our next generation. And if we can build up good mothers, we're going to have a strong future. So make sure that you guys go ahead and connect with her. I love you guys so much for being here. This is Nina Perez, straight talk, no sugar added. Until next time.